Hey, this is Art Maines, author of Scammed, 3 Steps to Help Your Elder Parents and Yourself, and one of the co-founders of the Senior Scam Action Associates, 3 professionals dedicated to giving you the knowledge and skills that you need to help safeguard your elders and their financial well-being from scams and frauds that are just booming in today's world. And that's a part of the problem that I've been addressing in my book. There is this huge epidemic of scams and frauds which just seems to grow all the time. More and more scammers are coming online, more and more types of scams are showing up, and the scammers are relentless in their drive to try to rip people off and steal not only their money, but their personal information or their identity, their choices, their future, and their freedom. There's even some evidence that suggests that people who get ripped off in this way can have worse health outcomes, suggesting that people who get ripped off in this way have 3 times greater mortality rate after getting scammed and ripped off in this way. So there's a great opportunity here for us as people who really care about elders to make a difference in their lives and to keep them safe from this modern scourge. So in my book, Scammed, 3 Steps to Help Your Elder Parents and Yourself, I give you the knowledge and skills that you need to be able to handle scams and frauds, whichever form they show up in. So for example, I heavily emphasize prevention in my book, talking about my 3 R's of scam prevention, which I mentioned in my other video. I also talk about a basic philosophy for scam prevention, which I'll talk to you about in just a moment. And then I also cover in very specific pragmatic steps how to think about recovery after an elder gets ripped off. Now, we don't like to think about an elder getting ripped off. I certainly didn't like thinking about it when my stepfather got ripped off a few years ago, and I saw what it did to him. But we do have to consider, how do we help somebody if they get ripped off? And this could be someone in your family or someone that you know at work. If you're an elder care professional, it could be a client that you work with. So it's important that we cover both sides of the problem, and that's what my book does. And so people have told me that the book that just has so many great practical advice, ideas, and resources for what to do, I actually give you links and websites in the book for both the prevention side and the recovery side, so that you are covered and your parents and the elders that you care about are covered. Now, there was a lady who came up to me at one of my talks, and I was talking about some of the ideas and practices that are in my book. And this was at an elder living community, not too far from where I live here. And she said to me, "You know, Art, I never do this but." And I thought, uh-oh, we're in trouble. And she said she had just put into the mail, it hadn't even gone out of the building yet, a $5 check to a company that was about helping her enter sweepstakes. Well, you know, there may be legitimate companies like that out there, but this is one of the ways that elders get ripped off. They get involved with these sweepstakes entering companies who wouldn't like a little extra money, maybe a lot of extra money, but so many times these sweepstakes entering things are just the royal road right to Scamville. So when she told me I never do this but, and it told me the rest of the story, then I thought, wow, we got to shut this down right now. And so what happened was, as a result of my talk, as a result of the concepts and ideas that I was sharing with her directly from my book, she recognized that maybe this was not such a good idea. What happened next was, we walked over, had a little talk with the activities director. She got in touch with the lady's son, and I believe that we shut down a scam that day, and that made me so happy. Because if I can just stop one scam from happening to one elder, I feel I've been successful. Now, the feedback that I'm getting is that my book has helped a lot of people think more clearly and more effectively about scam prevention, and it's also helped people deal with recovery, because I've consulted with scam victims and their families all around the country. And they say, you know, your book really laid out in an easy-to-use format exactly what we need to do. I am so grateful. And I've had professionals in the field. I was recently in Calgary, Alberta, giving a talk on recovery with some folks from the Canadian authorities. And they all said, wow, you know, your book really has some great information in it. And I was very honored because several of them bought a copy of the book to use with their people in Canada. So I'm thrilled with the results and the feedback that I'm getting from the book, because that's been my goal all along, to get people to really think more clearly and to know exactly what to do about scam prevention, but also recovery if the worst happens. So in line with that, I want to give you the basic philosophy that I teach for scam prevention. Now, I mentioned that in the last video a few days ago. And this philosophy, I think, gives you a clear mindset for what to do. Here's the philosophy. Never let yourself be chosen. Always do the choosing. Let me say that again. Never let yourself be chosen. Always do the choosing. Now, I can't take credit for that. This comes from one of the famous illusionists out in Las Vegas, someone who would clearly know a little bit about how to pull the wool over somebody's eyes. And I just think this is brilliant. I think this bit of philosophy is genius for empowering elders and others to never get ripped off. Somebody sends you a phony email or calls you on the phone, they're choosing you. If you recognize that, remember, recognize, respond, and then reach out. If you recognize, oh my God, they're choosing me, then your brain is going to say, no, this is a scam. I'm not going to do this. So there's the basic philosophy that I think informs all effective scam prevention. Never let yourself be chosen. Always do the choosing. So in the book, that's the philosophy that guides everything on the prevention side. And so I have 3 chapters that lay out the recovery aspects of it, that talk about the basic ideas for recovery, which are discover, protect, and recover. Those are the 3 big ideas for how you think about recovery. And then I lay out how to put these ideas into action with 3 common types of scams: home repair ripoffs, financial frauds and scams, and then identity theft. So you have a ready-made 360 view roadmap, if you will, for how to recover, but also, more importantly even, how to prevent scams and frauds from stealing your parents' well-being. Now, the book is only $20, but what would it cost you if your parent got ripped off? Now, in my own world, Bill got ripped off to the tune of $70,000. That was terrible. It was a huge percentage of his remaining life savings. Now, when he told the scammers he didn't have any more money to send them, they coached him on how to do credit card cash advances, which was a financial disaster on top of a financial disaster. About a year ago, there was a lady here in my hometown in St. Louis who got ripped off in the grandparents scam. This is the one where they say, oh, Grandma, I'm stuck in Mexico and I need you to wire me $1,500 to get out of jail, that sort of thing. This lady lost her entire remaining life savings, again, $250,000, to scammers in the grandparents scam. Now, sadly, the future is not as bright for that lady as it should be. So my book, for a very small price of $20, or perhaps even less at Amazon, could give you the toolkit, the knowledge that you need to be able to help your senior parents, all the seniors that you love and care about. If you are a senior, it will empower you to keep yourself safe and to be a positive influence in your community and those around you to help keep people safe from getting ripped off. And if you're an elder care professional, it will give you what you need to be able to help any elder or any person who comes your way who is dealing with this or who's interested in making sure that they keep the elders that they care about safe. So when you put all that together, it seems like my book is a really good deal. But in addition to just the very minimal price of my book, there are some bonuses that I want to tell you about. Now, I wanted to extend my ability to serve through the book. And so I've created a couple of bonuses which you will find links for in the book, and you can go directly to this page on my website and download these bonuses. The first one is a guide to scam denial interventions. Now, I've adapted from the substance abuse world the intervention model. Now, you should know, in my regular work, I am a psychotherapist and counselor. I'm a licensed mental health professional. So I'm familiar with the intervention model, and I've adapted it for use with elders who maybe don't believe that they're getting ripped off, but they really are. So this will give you a framework, a 7-step outline for how to gather your resources and how to talk to the elder in such a way that you can break through the denial and move them into safety so that the bleeding, the losses can end there. So many times elders don't believe that they're getting ripped off. Heck, Bill didn't believe he was getting ripped off. When the police officer confronted him at the courtesy counter at the grocery store, he didn't believe them. So denial is a real problem, and I've addressed this in this bonus that you will find a link for in the book. The second bonus is my guide to scam drills, which is how you do regular, repeated practice in the skills of recognizing, responding, and reaching out concerning scams and frauds. So it provides a 12-month outline with a different scam for every month. Then you practice recognizing, responding, and reaching out about these scams so that we keep these habits built. We keep them strong and fresh and top of mind so that an elder's ability to resist a scam or fraud goes way, way up. My goal is so that no one gets ripped off in scams and frauds anymore. I know that's probably impossible, but if I can affect more people and help them learn how to stay safe from scams, then at the end of the day, I will feel like I succeeded. So the world of scams and frauds is not going away. It's, if anything, getting worse. That's why it's so important to get a hold of my book now. Because if you know what to do, you're going to be in a better position to shut this down. The time to take care of this is now, not when your elder gets ripped off. Now, if something has happened and you need this book for recovery, then God bless you. Please pick it up, and I hope you find it useful. I trust that you will. And because I believe so much in this book and the work that I'm doing with scams and frauds, I'm going to offer you a 30-day guarantee. If you get my book in either format, either a print book or in the electronic form, and you don't feel you got anything out of it, you send me an email and I will refund your money. Because I think that you will find a lot of things in my book that will help you, especially on the prevention side, but also on the recovery side if you need it. So, in addition, because I'm so excited to offer this book now, I'm also going to offer to you a free 30-minute TeleSeminar. This is where you call into a number and we talk about what's going on with you in your family and what your concerns are about your parent or the elder that you care about, so that you can hear from me directly and perhaps members of my team, the Senior Scam Action Associates, how to think about your specific situation so that we keep your parent or the elder that you care about safe. So I invite you to please click the button below and buy the book now. And if you decide that you would rather have the ebook version, just go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and then email me your receipt, and I will make sure that you get the information about how to access the TeleSeminar. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. The email is available on my website. It is once again elderlyfraudrecoveryhelp@gmail.com. Once again, the email is elderlyfraudrecoveryhelp@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you will buy my book. I hope you will find it useful and helpful. I believe that you will. If I can answer any questions for you, please feel free to reach out to me. And remember, always take care of yourself and take care of the seniors that you care about.